Today on Gear Up Bike we're diving into the detailed review of the 2026 Yamaha SR400, a motorcycle that has carried the soul of pure motorcycling for decades. Yamaha has brought this machine into the modern era once again, but without sacrificing the charm that made riders fall in love with it in the first place. As I walk toward the bike in the studio, I'm immediately pulled into the classic aura. But there's something fresh here too, something Yamaha has subtly but confidently updated for today's world. The 2026 SR400 still keeps its foundation intact. A lightweight, air-cooled single with minimal electronics, a design that's closer to a piece of history than a modern machine, and yet Yamaha has refined it in ways that you only notice once you get close. Standing in front of the bike, the first thing that grabs your attention is that signature round headlamp, but for 2026 Yamaha has fitted a new LED setup inside the classic housing. It doesn't scream modern, it doesn't break the retro vibe, instead, it blends in so naturally that you almost question whether it's really LED until it turns on. The front forks retain the traditional telescopic look but are now internally revised for better damping, especially over rough roads. The front fender has a clean, chrome-touched aesthetic that is becoming rare in today's motorcycle market. The spoked wheels, still wrapped in classic profile tires, maintain that old-school identity while offering a slightly improved compound for grip. And when you view the bike straight from the front, you immediately understand why the SR400 continues to be a timeless icon. Its silhouette is unmistakably traditional, simple, and beautifully honest. Moving to the side of the bike, this is where the SR400 truly tells its story. The fuel tank remains narrow, with a gentle curve that flows naturally into the single-piece seat. In 2026 Yamaha has introduced two new color options of vintage graphite and pure indigo, each with hand-applied pinstripes that make the bike look like it rolled straight out of a 1970s catalog but with the paint quality of today's premium motorcycles. The sculpted tank badge is raised metal rather than a sticker, something that adds to the old-school charm. The engine, an air-cooled 399cc single, stands exposed in all its simplicity, with polished fins and matte black accents. Yamaha has kept the Kickstarter, which alone attracts enthusiasts who miss the ritual of starting a bike the old-fashioned way. But for convenience, the electric starter remains as well. The side profile shows how Yamaha has perfected the proportion of this machine. Nothing looks out of place, nothing tries too hard. It's the kind of motorcycle that looks good now and will look good decades later. Walking toward the rear of the bike, the clean and minimal theme continues. The chrome-finished dual shock absorbers remain, but internally they've been reworked to handle weight distribution more efficiently. The tail lamp has the same retro rounded housing but now uses an LED light source that glows brighter and richer. The exhaust on the 2026 model has been redesigned slightly. It has a deeper tone, a more resonant note that gives the single-cylinder thump a satisfying presence without being loud or intrusive. The rear fender retains its metal construction, something many brands have abandoned in favor of plastic. Yamaha continues to honor the seniors past by keeping these metal elements intact, giving the bike a sturdier, more authentic feel. The side panels also receive a refreshed emblem for 2026. Adding a small modern touch against the backdrop of classic styling. As we turn our attention to the heart of the SR400, the engine, Yamaha has taken the same reliable single-cylinder 399cc air-cooled motor and refined it subtly. It now meets the latest emission standards thanks to updated fuel injection mapping and a revamped combustion chamber. Even though it's air-cooled, Yamaha has engineered better thermal efficiency so the bike runs cooler, especially in dense traffic. The engine produces smoother throttle response, especially in low and mid-range RPM, where most senior owners spend their time. The mechanical rhythm of this engine is something special. It's not about raw power or speed, it's about connection. You can feel each pulse, each cycle, the way older motorcycles used to communicate with their riders. But make no mistake, this engine is now more refined, more predictable, and more fuel efficient than before. The performance of the 2026 SR400 is exactly what enthusiasts expect: a relaxed but character-driven. The bike isn't built for aggressive riding. Instead, It's designed to give you an unfiltered riding experience. The power delivery is linear and gentle, which makes it ideal for new riders while still being enjoyable for experienced ones who appreciate the simplicity of old-school motorcycling. The real joy of the SR400 comes from its lightweight and precise handling. It tips into corners effortlessly and maintains stability even at higher speeds. The updated suspension plays a large role in this, ironing out bumps and keeping the chassis composed. The braking system, which includes a front disc and rear drum, has been mildly improved with better pad material and braking feel. Although Yamaha intentionally avoids modern electronic aids like ABS to keep the riding experience intact. Whether you're commuting, cruising through city streets, or taking it out for a weekend joyride, the bike rewards you with that unmistakable senior charm. The gearbox still comes in a 5-speed configuration that feels crisp and tactile. Each shift gives you that mechanical satisfaction that electronic quickshifters often remove. The clutch action is lighter for 2026, thanks to revised internals, making city riding smoother and more comfortable. The engine vibrations, which have always been part of the SR400's personality, are now slightly reduced but still noticeable enough to feel alive, which many fans appreciate. At around mid-range RPM the bike feels happiest, delivering a rhythm that matches the relaxed nature of the motorcycle. Now let's talk about the price. Yamaha has positioned the 2026 SR400 as a premium retro bike, and that means it comes at a cost that reflects its craftsmanship, metal components, and timeless engineering. For this model year the bike carries a price tag that varies slightly depending on region, but it generally falls into the upper middle range of classic-styled motorcycles. Yamaha knows that the SR400 appeals to a specific type of rider, someone who values authenticity, mechanical purity, and long-lasting design over raw power or advanced electronics. And for those riders, the price feels justified, especially considering how few motorcycles today offer such a classic experience without compromises. The 2026 SR400 remains one of the last true throwback machines in the modern world. In a market filled with digital screens, riding modes, traction control systems, and heavy reliance on electronics, Yamaha continues to offer a motorcycle that stays loyal to the roots of riding. This bike is for riders who want to feel every vibration, every mechanical beat, and every subtle movement of the machine. It's for riders who believe in the simplicity of the open road and in the joy of connection between humans and machines without filters. As we wrap up this in-depth review, the 2026 Yamaha SR400 stands as not just a motorcycle, but a symbol of timeless design and riding purity. It carries the spirit of the original Senior Series while quietly integrating just enough modern refinement to meet today's standards. Whether you're a collector, a nostalgic rider, or someone who values motorcycles that stay true to their identity, the SR400 remains an irresistible choice. Yamaha hasn't tried to reinvent the wheel here, they've simply preserved what made this bike iconic while polishing the small details that make it better than ever. If you're considering getting one, then you're not just buying a bike, you're buying an experience, a legacy, and a connection to motorcycling's golden era. This is Gear Up Bike, and I hope this deep dive review helps you understand exactly what makes the 2026 Yamaha SR400 such a special machine. Until the next ride, stay sharp, stay safe, and keep your gear up.